Students, this is basic enhancements to a photograph. So you start out with a photograph. I've got two identical ones from a student here. One that I'm going to do subtly and one that I'm going to do with a higher contrast. Contrast being the difference between light and dark. One of the most frequent enhancements photographers use is adjust lighting and levels. So I'll go up to enhance, adjust lighting and levels, or Ctrl L. And you'll see here a histogram, which is the representation of the value of pixels in this image. So we can see that in this space here to the right, there are no white pixels, none at all, that are assigned to being white, and only a few that are very dark, approaching black, but none that are pure black. And by moving these sliders, you get to change what those pixels are. So these really deep pixels right now, by moving this slider over, I'm giving them the assignment to be black. Okay, and the more I slide over, all of these pixels that used to be dark gray, I'm telling to be black now. So you don't want to go too heavy with this. This is my high contrast kind of image, so I am going to go a little heavier than normal. And my white, I'm going to bring up so that pixels that used to be kind of like a 25% gray are now going to be totally white. Okay, that would be a high contrast. Now that doesn't look realistic anymore. That approaches into the realm of abstract kind of line, and that's appropriate at times. Let's work on the subtle image. If I want to adjust this subtly, enhance, adjust lighting and levels, and I would just drag it over a little bit. Some photographers even set up their photography to, once they do a photo shoot, they just automatically bump this to 10 and bump this to 250 or 240, something like that, and because they know that that's the look that they want to get, and they'll automatically kind of batch process all of those files. So that's a subtle modification, and you can even move this the middle values up and down, depending on if you want a mood of kind of bright cheerfulness or kind of a darkness, then you can move that mid-tone arrow as well. So Ctrl Z to undo. So that was the original. This is the modified version. Original and modified. So it's a subtle change, but it improves the quality of the picture. And that's an enhancement called Adjust Lighting and Levels. Another enhancement that's commonly used in Photoshop is called Adjusting Hue and Saturation. So you go to Adjust Color, Adjust Hue and Saturation, or Ctrl U, so the shortcut for that. And it's important not to get too crazy with this, otherwise it looks psychedelic, but saturation basically is the difference between richness and dullness in an image. So if you want to increase the richness, you bring the slider up a little bit, and you'll make more vibrant those areas of color, like that bluish greeny gray. Lightness isn't a good idea because you limit the output of all pixels to that value. So whatever it means it's going to be limiting the amount of darks. All of a sudden darks can't be as dark anymore. Whereas when you were working with levels, you could modify the light and the dark independently. This is kind of like a blanket statement. So I discourage you to use lightness within this hue saturation kind of dialog box here. But saturation is a helpful thing, especially if you're changing the hue. The hue is you can call it the color of the image, and so if you want a kind of an orangey tone or a reddish tone or a purpley tone to your or vibe to your piece, then hue is the thing that you're going to want to work with. You can also colorize it. So colorizing it changes all the color values in the piece to be on the same kind of hue range. So right now we're at the red end of the spectrum, getting into the yellow, the acidic yellows and the greens, into bluey green and teal and etc. So, and you can modify the saturation of that as well. Okay, so those are the two most frequently used enhancements. Ctrl L to do levels, Ctrl U to adjust hue or saturation.